Napoli fans around the world, welcome to Napoli Talk. This is an important video, guys, so stick around because we're going to talk about what's really wrong with Napoli, what is the missing piece, and you'll be surprised to know that no, it's not that we need a new left back, it's not that Gattuso's tactics are wrong, it's not that Fabian is out of position, it's not that we have a lot of injuries, it's not that the stadium is empty. No, guys, I am talking about a more fundamental reason why Napoli are struggling, but not just this season, in general over the last few years. Because yes, I am talking about a problem that we've had since Mazzarri, since Benitez, since Sarri, since Ancelotti, and now with Gattuso. So why is that? Why have Napoli been bottling championships? Why have they not been winning as much as other teams? The problem is mentally these players are too weak, and we are going to address in this video what Napoli needs to do to fix that. So what is missing at Napoli to make that step up and improve our mentality? And to answer that, I think we can take inspiration from something that other clubs are doing. Milan, Inter, Juve, and other clubs around the world. And what these clubs have that Napoli doesn't have is a middleman that was an ex-player, a club legend, someone that breathes the football club, that can link between players, staff, management, coach, sporting director. So if we just take a look at the Serie A, we have at Inter, Zanetti, most league appearances for Inter, Maldini, Milan club legend, maybe the best center back in history, and at Juve you've got Nedved, who won the Ballon d'Or with Juventus. Meanwhile at Napoli we have no one that links these people up, because players that are not performing well, they can't always go to Gattuso for help, or De Laurentiis, or the sporting director, because they are the ones that need to make some critical transfer market decision, some critical decision on who plays and who doesn't play. So if you're a player that is feeling down, sometimes Gattuso doesn't have the time for you. Sometimes Gattuso's too busy understanding why the team is not working tactically, or the sporting director is working on transfer market stuff. So what Napoli needs is someone that knows what the players are going through and that can help them out mentally and help them progress. Be the middleman between them and the coach, them and the sporting director, or them and De Laurentiis if there's any issues, without having Gattuso maybe step in all the time. So in this video, we're going to take a look at a few different options that I think Napoli need to consider as this middleman. So number one, the first thing that came to my mind, taking inspiration from Inter, Juve, and Milan, are players that have won the Scudetto with their club. Now, unfortunately, in Napoli's case, this was 30 years ago. So all these players that could qualify, players such as Bruscolotti, Careca, etc., they are now well into their 50s and 60s, and I don't think that's the right sort of person that you want at the club to help the players mentally. And that is simply because it is a totally different environment from how it was 30 or 40 years ago. Social media has been introduced. You've got agents that have a lot more power. And so we need someone that's a bit more recent. Now, unfortunately, in Napoli's case, this will not be someone that has won the title. And in order to be relatable to these players, I think we need to look at players that have played for Napoli in the last 20 years. And to make things a little bit easier for us, I'm going to consider just about the last 15 years from 2004 onwards, which is exactly when De Laurentiis bought the club. And that is because it is important that whoever steps into this position knows exactly who they're dealing with. Now, when I think of the last 15 years, two players that immediately come to my mind are players such as Hamsik and Lavezzi. Now, Hamsik, unfortunately, can't fulfill this role because he is still playing football all the way out in China. In the next 5 years, however, when he's finished playing football, I do see him having a role in the club, and he would be the perfect fit. In the meantime, though, we have to consider other players. I mentioned Lavezzi. Now, Lavezzi is someone that's interesting because bringing on Lavezzi would definitely bring enthusiasm into the team, into the fans. However, the issue with Lavezzi is that he would bring too much hype to the football club. The media will be all over him, the fans as well. I don't see Lavezzi being someone that is going to get along well with De Laurentiis, and I don't trust him necessarily to keep a level head at all times. I think Lavezzi is still a bit of a kid on the inside, and he's definitely not on the same maturity level as someone like Nedved, Maldini or Zanetti. Now another player that springs to mind is former captain Paolo Cannavaro, who retired 2 or 3 years ago. And guys, it seems like a perfect story on the surface. He is a local lad born just outside of the stadium, started his career at Napoli, went to Parma for a few years, and when Napoli were in Serie B in the second division, he came back from the Serie A, from the heights of the Serie A with Parma, all the way down to Serie B to help Napoli go all the way up back to Serie A, captained the club to several trophies, Champions League appearances, so it would seem the perfect person. However, Cannavaro and De Laurentiis are not on good terms right now. So the story behind Cannavaro leaving Napoli and why I don't see him as being anywhere near the club in the near future is because in 2014, Cannavaro left Napoli for Sassuolo after only 3 or so games with Rafa Benitez, and it seemed at the time to be a very technical issue with Rafa Benitez going from the Mazzarri 3-man defense to a 4-man defense. However, over the years, we've uncovered several different things. One of the major incidents is Cannavaro supposedly having some sort of rapport with the mafia, allowing them to get free tickets to watch the games, going to some of their parties. And another incident seemed to be that back in 2014, when De Laurentiis dished out 40 million for Higuain, Cannavaro went on a trip with Higuain to Capri. They rented a boat and Higuain got hurt hitting his head onto some rocks, jumping off of that boat that Cannavaro invited him to. And De Laurentiis apparently took out his frustration on Cannavaro, who told him that he was irresponsible for organizing that little trip and putting Higuain at risk. Now, obviously, looking back, we're all happy that happened. And this is not just reports that De Laurentiis and Cannavaro are not on good terms, it is actual fact, because over the last few weeks there was a mural that was made outside one of the stations in Naples, and it had basically Napoli's history over the last 90 or so years. They had every single player, including traders such as Higuain, including people such as Sarri, which De Laurentiis really despises. Everyone was there except Cannavaro. Cannavaro, who captained the club, who lifted trophies with the club, he wasn't on that mural. So if not Lavezzi, if not Hamsik, if not Cannavaro, then who could be this man for Napoli? And the only other option left, someone that was playing in the De Laurentiis era, someone that is in that mural, in that station, and his name is Pampa Sosa. Now guys, Pampa Sosa is a big part of this club, but a lot of you maybe don't know much about him. But to explain why Pampa Sosa is the man for Napoli, I have to take a step back all the way to 2004. So back in 2004, Napoli failed as a club. We no longer existed. Everything that belonged to Napoli was taken away. And De Laurentiis bought the club. And the first person that De Laurentiis bought was El Pampa Sosa, a striker who had just been promoted to Serie A with Messina, decided to take 2 steps back and go all the way down to 3rd division and play for Napoli. And the conditions of Napoli were so bad at the time that we didn't even have footballs to train with. Pampa Sosa, with his own money, bought footballs for the team to train in. And because he accepted this challenge to bring Napoli to the very top again, he instantly became a fan favorite. And guys, De Laurentiis did not immediately build a very, very strong team. The first year that we were in the 3rd division, we didn't go straight up. It took a second attempt for us to go up and then another one for us to go into the Serie A. But in that time, Pampa Sosa was scoring goals for Napoli for fun, and after every goal, kissing the Napoli shirt, going to the fans, celebrating with them. And then in 2006, Napoli decided to take away the number 10 jersey forever, and it was given to Pampa Sosa to wear for the last time, and he scored a beautiful goal. And after that goal, he took off his shirt and had a writing on his shirt saying, "Those who love don't forget, honor to those who made the history of Napoli," obviously referring to Diego Armando Maradona, his childhood hero when he grew up in Argentina. And as he was walking back to the touchline, he started crying, filled with emotions. And Pampa Sosa was the man that took us from third division to the Serie A. He absolutely loved the club, and he is the perfect candidate because he left Napoli when he reached a certain age. He was an old striker already, didn't have any issues with De Laurentiis. The fans still love him. He's still relatively young, and throughout the years he's been following Napoli, going to some of their games, most recently the one that we won against Frosinone with Higuain scoring a hat-trick. And Pampa Sosa throughout the years has always been interviewed saying that he'd love to coach Napoli, he'd love to come back to Naples. So who better than Pampa Sosa to bring into the club to improve on the players' mentality, give them that motivation to work harder, tell them about stories about he had to buy himself the footballs so that they could train. Who else better than him? He's in good terms with De Laurentiis, he's in good terms with the fans, everybody loves him, and he's young enough to relate to these players. But I want to know your opinion in the comments. Does Napoli need a middleman, and would Pampa Sosa be the right person? Write that down in the comments below, and if you've liked this video, then smash that like button and subscribe. And as always, Forza Napoli sempre.